I upset a few people last time, so I'm going to do it again. Here's 10 more Subaru myths that I've busted. We'll start with number 1. You need a forged engine to get more than 400 horsepower. Rubbish. The standard STI bottom end will take a lot of power. Did one this last week at 641 on the standard STI bottom end. Obviously it's not going to last forever. If it does break, or when it does break, because I know the guy who drives it, it is going to just get replaced with the standard STI bottom end. $2,000 out of the box from Subaru, easy as. Number 2, an oil baffle plate like this will solve oil surge. It will not. It might reduce the amount of oil that goes up to the cylinder heads on long high G corners, but it will not control the oil around the pickup pipe, because to do that you need a proper baffle sump like the ones sold by IAG or Killer B, and that way it keeps a pillar of oil around the oil pickup pipe, so it's always sucking up oil rather than fresh air. And I don't think it does any good. I've run these at Brands Hatch and still had oil surge around clearways. Obviously these are my opinions, feel free to disagree, pop it in the comments below, which I'm sure you will. Right, number 3, you need a front mount intercooler to get over 350 horsepower. Not the case, you can get quite comfortably over that. I got 450 horsepower on my Forester STI, but accepting the fact that the top mount intercooler is less efficient, I overspec'd on the turbo, so I ran a 500 horsepower turbo, reduced it down so that it was still within the bounds of what the top mount intercooler can control from a temperature point of view, and that way I got 450 horsepower on it. If I ran a front mount intercooler on that same turbo, same car, it would have made 500. Number 4, you need a silicon inlet hose for higher power. I think this is complete and utter rubbish. The standard Subaru inlet hose, the turbo inlet hose, works really good up until about 400 horsepower. Beyond that, then yes, more flow would be needed. Up until that point, the standard inlet hose works really well. It's quite stiff sidewalls so that it doesn't suffer from surge. Very, very remote chance of it ever sucking shut, which some of the cheaper silicone inlet hoses can do. So not really needed for 300 to 400 horsepower. Standard inlet hose works great. If you like what I'm trying to do in these videos, please consider subscribing. It helps share the word in YouTube world. So thank you in advance for that. Number 5, a TD04 will not do above 300 horsepower. I know this is complete rubbish because I've done it many times. It's not usual, it's probably 1 in 40 that will do that, but on the right car with the right bits bolted on, it will do it on the right fuel. Currently the record that I've seen is 314, that was with a Hawkeye TD04 on a Blob Eye WRX with a front mount intercooler and headers, but you know, not a normal set of mods, quite an expensive set of mods, when most people would go down the VF route to get above 300 at that point, but it can be done. Number 6, the Subaru ECU self-learns. What a complete and utter load of tosh. There are some air fuel learning, but it is very crude, very primitive. Will not correct the fueling on boost. The knock control is there, it works in the majority of cases, but I really wouldn't rely on it. To get the car safe, reliable and producing good power, but reliably, it needs mapping. The ECU doesn't self-learn. Number 7, you need GT spec headers to get over 400 horsepower. Again, rubbish. The standard STI headers and up pipe are amazing. Subaru spent an awful lot of time developing these from the flow characteristics and the sizing. They just need a little bit of help as far as porting the inlet, which I went into on the previous video. I'll put a link in the description for that. Can I just apologise for the really weird noises that are probably coming across in this video. It's a very windy winter's day here. The wind's blowing, the building has a strange set of noises that are probably coming across, so apologies in advance in that. I've done everything that I can as far as audio, the mic and everything, but there are a lot of noises in the building. Right, number 8, you need a big throttle body to get high power. Again, a lot of the aftermarket large throttle bodies are cheap, shiny eBay rubbish, and they cause more problems than they're worth. I got to 850 horsepower on the completely standard original drive-by-wire throttle on my Impreza. It was never a restriction as far as I was aware. It doesn't need to be changed to a large throttle body. Right, number 9, STI pink injectors won't do 400 horsepower. They will. 410 is about the limit on those, on the right engine, on the right car. The way to calculate what the injectors will flow out is take the injector size, multiply it by 0.75, and that gets you in the sort of ballpark for what the injectors will flow to power-wise. Obviously that depends on the petrol and the engine and all the rest of it, but 550 injectors will do about 410. Slightly more if you can increase the fuel pressure with an adjustable fuel pressure regulator. Equally, the WRX light blue injectors will do over 300, about 310 on those. Myth number 10, you need to change the fuel pump on a STI hatch or newer to get the car remapped. This is rubbish. The standard fuel pump on those will cope with up to about 400 horsepower before they need changing. And quite often by changing it, you upsetting the seals within the plastic holder that holds the fuel pump and cause more problems than you're actually solving with the fuel supply. Quite often I've heard from customers where they've changed the fuel pump and the car won't start afterwards, so probably best to leave well alone unless you know that the fuel pump isn't able to keep up the demand with what you've got at the moment, in which case it's a faulty fuel pump. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on the video and watch this one if you didn't watch the original 10 myths busted, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.